The 2026 Palm Beach auction had no shortage of goodies with a wide-ranging docket of collector vehicles crossing the block at the South Florida Fairgrounds.
From celebrity-owned rides to truly unexpected finds, the variety on display showcased the creativity and diversity that define the collector car world. So let's take a look at these top 10 unusual, bold, and unforgettable vehicles presented by CRC Industries at the world's greatest collector car auctions.
Starting with number 10, 1996 Corvette Speed Racer Recreation. Now this one's powered by a brand new fuel-injected LT1 with 4-speed automatic transmission and rear-wheel drive. It's got a new radiator, new brakes, and new heater hoses. Fully customized, and the best part, helmet included.
The C4 makes for a pretty good platform for the Mach 5. That tri-tip there. The headlights are underneath low and that yellow lenses, and this is all pretty correct. They even put a helmet on the driver to match Speed Racer. Pretty funny.
I see it makes use of the stock Corvette doors, stock interior, dash, everything, the suspension, of course, which is a fine thing. The LT1 has, 240 horsepower, 260 horsepower, something like that. Good power, push rods, fuel injected, plastic fins here, which kind of emulate, the Speed Racer. There you have it. LED taillights, dual exhaust, standard exhaust pipes in the Corvette here.
Speed Racer was a cartoon, I believe, Japanese animation. When I was watching as a kid, it was always weird because of the speech patterns, because they were translating from Japanese. They had to fit it in very closely with the way the mouth was moving, so they didn't really talk with their normal speech pattern.
So what's the original Japanese name of the show? Mach Go Go Go, not Speed Racer, that's what we call it. In a way, it goes to another owner.
Number 9, this is going to surprise a lot of people, a 2022 Vespa 946 Christian Dior limited edition scooter. So yes, a scooter, air-cooled 155cc 4-stroke engine with a CVT automatic transmission, but all the beautiful Dior's badging and stuff on it, very fancy. 4 actual miles.
The Vespa's styling really hasn't changed since it came out many decades ago. They want to keep that sort of retro look. This one only has 4 miles on it, so brand new, even though it's a 2022. And it's definitely a designer series, so you have the gold trim all over it. Obviously reimagined by Dior as far as their own styling. And speaking of Dior, I think Mags, your moccasins are Dior, right?
No, LL Bean, not quite. It's the forest, the woods version of the Christian Dior. This has a 155cc for a 1-cylinder engine, air-cooled. It's not a 2-stroke, but it's a fun little inner-city scooter mobile. It's very classy, I guess.
Tell you what, it's getting attention here in the room. We're currently bid at $67,000. Remember, this is a Vespa scooter, but it's a very rare one. Christian Dior, that combination of that company together with the Vespa company, which is so well known, and John Staluppi, who knows his stuff, is up in the skybox bidding on that. We're at $70,000.
It makes sense. I mean, people will pay this much for rare fashion accessories. If you're cruising around, South Florida along the coast, and you want to show off, well, you have your Dior outfit and your Dior Vespa.
Well, and look, up on the block, you can see they've got the Dior helmet, the Dior case, and as we mentioned, it also came with the Dior outfit. We're closing in on 6 figures here. Who would have guessed? John Staluppi thought it was almost over. He's like, bring the hammer down. And instead, another bid came in. Nope, $85,000, and it looks like he's going to get it. I don't think I would have guessed that one coming in the door for a 2026 Vespa. But once again, a Christian Dior limited edition scooter.
At number 8, 2023 Ford Model T custom golf cart. Yes, a golf cart that powers from a 5-kilowatt electric motor with 48-volt battery, rear axle drive, forward and reverse transmission, hydraulically assisted front disc and rear drum brakes. Ford Model T styling throughout with that sweet brass styled accents. I mean, you're never going to see another one like it.
$40 $40,000. No, sir, going to be $40,000 now. $100,000 now. Sold. $100,000, Mary.
Number 7 is a 2023 Ford Shelby F-150 Centennial Edition pickup truck, powered by a 5-liter supercharged Coyote engine, producing 800 horsepower with a 10-speed automatic. Now, this one is just number 72 of 100 produced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Carroll Shelby's birth.
It packs the Coyote 5-liter dual overhead cam V8 behind that massive, intimidating Shelby grille. Of course, four-wheel drive. Hard to think of a four-wheel drive Shelby anything well into the 21st century. You get them on pickup trucks like this one here. 4 doors, also a Shelby, unique on trucks, seen here also.
It's called the Centennial Edition because 1923 is the anniversary, well, when Carroll Shelby was born. So 100 years later, 2023, they celebrated it with this truck, taking the 5-liter Coyote engine and putting a supercharger on it to the tune of 800 horsepower, giving it a nice lift as well, sort of Raptor-esque without the wide body. So a lot to like here. They were very expensive when new, well north of this current bid.
Yeah, just 100 produced. This is number 72 to come off the line. Has less than 19,000 miles. And look at the price. We're already bid to $112,000.
Way up top is in the 13. 115, 130, hammers high.
And of course, Carroll Shelby, he wasn't building trucks. He was building cars to go race. Iconic Ford versus Ferrari film kind of documented that. So he's a legend with Ford.
And happy to put his name on things and make a few bucks off it at the end. He was a great guy, and he was a good friend here at Barrett-Jackson. We saw him for a number of years coming to these events. He was always very gracious, always fun to talk to.
At number 6, 2021 Jeep Gladiator Custom Resvani Hercules 6x6. She's got a 6.4-liter SRT V8 with an automatic transmission and 6-wheel drive. Now it's equipped with Fox shocks, 24-inch TIS off-road wheels, and 37-inch tires.
This one obviously dramatically reimagined by Resvani. Totally different front end treatment, totally different body kit. I don't think there's a single panel that hasn't been touched on this Jeep. The roof is now fixed, not removable, and obviously we have an extra axle, which, Mags, looks like it's functional as well.
Well, indeed it is. I see the Curry label welded to the tube on the center axle. Of course, Curry is a well-known manufacturer of aftermarket axles, largely 9-inch type axles, but Curry is the go-to shop apparently now for 6-wheel drive axle components, as we see them here.
This is very cool with the matte blue finish, and you can see the roll bar sort of has some etched metal accents to it, along with boat-style speakers, outdoor speakers, so where you're an instant tailgate party when you pull up. And these massive chrome wheels are definitely a statement as well. This is a pretty incredible build.
Curry tag right there, welded to the tube right there. Curry, of course, Ray Curry, the founder of Curry Enterprises, founded back in 1978, I believe. Rebuilding 9-inch axles, and now, of course, re-engineering and making these from scratch for 6-wheel drive applications. Order yours today.
You know, to be honest with you, with this thing sitting up here on the auction block, it looks like a massive Hot Wheels vehicle. It looks like something my grandson would be playing with.
I just checked, the odometer has 15,000 miles on it, so it has been driven some. I imagine maneuvering, you know, tight streets and all that stuff would be a challenge, but somebody put some miles on this thing and had some fun.
Originally displayed at the 2023 SEMA show. Just an amazing build. I like all the scroll work on the roll cage going down the back, you know, with that matte blue finish on the paint. But of course, the silver scroll work on the roll cage, and of course, those massive chrome wheels. That gentleman, by the way, on the right, just walked up onto the auction block a moment ago and said, "I want in on this action."
Massively upgraded powertrain as well. They didn't do Hemis on the Gladiators. They did it on the Wranglers. So if you wanted a Hemi, you had to swap it, which this one does have a 6.4-liter SRT V8 engine.
And apparently S Club is a manufacturer, a modifier in Los Angeles, doing their own kind of work, including things like this.
Well, congratulations. Like I said, he just walked up on the block a few moments ago. He'd apparently been paying attention to it, decided he wanted to get in on the action. $129,000 for that wild Jeep Gladiator.
We're halfway through at number 5. This one, a 2015 Camaro Trans Am Bandit Edition, formerly owned by comedian Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias. So this thing was born a Camaro, transformed into a Bandit Trans Am, one of just 77 built and signed by Burt Reynolds with documentation. 6.2-liter V8 and a 6-speed manual transmission.
And now 90, 100, and now $100,000, and now $150,000. You sure? Sold. $150,000. Camille.
At number 4, 2020 Lamborghini Huracan Super Toreo Evo 2. Now this one's powered by a 5.2 V10 and 6-speed sequential gearbox. She's ready for the IMSA Super Trofeo series, so she's a track car and not street legal.
Dramatically different from the normal Lamborghini Huracan. So you have that roof scoop intake, much lower stance with the exposed carbon fiber, but still a Lamborghini V10 engine. Just a pretty incredible track-focused machine. They do not come up for sale very often. They're built to race in a certain series, and not many of them made.
It's amazing, too. It's naturally aspirated. It doesn't need a blower to make the power that it does. It goes to very high RPMs, almost 8,000 RPMs to make the horsepower it does up top on the curve.
And there's no glass in this thing. It is all Lexan, which is sort of required to go racing. So there's no way you could street title this thing. It includes the pull strap on the front. Functional headlights, though, so it does look like the Huracan, but not street legal.
It developed for that Super Trofeo Championship, and it just sold here at Barrett-Jackson for $155,000.
Now we're at number 3, the bronze medal going to the 2021 Ford Shelby Super Snake Speedster, powered by an 825 horsepower Whipple supercharged V8 and a 6-speed automatic transmission. Shelby suspension, forged 20-inch wheels, aluminum fenders, and Speedster configuration. It's a Shelby build number 15 of 98, so it's very rare.
Boy, it looks like it's nicely upgraded under the hood, huh, Max?
Yeah, the Whipple supercharged engine. Of course, the intercooler is polished out on top. That's the intercooler right there. The blower is actually underneath it, but very delicious, polished out. That Whipple, of course, manufactures supercharged at the top fuel as well as street cars like this.
In 2021, there was the factory-produced Shelby GT500 for 760 horsepower, but this isn't a Ford factory Shelby. This is a Shelby Las Vegas build, and with that polished supercharger, you're at 825 horsepower, so more than the factory GT500, even though I believe they use the 5-liter Coyote on these.
These do have independent rear suspension at the tail, which improves handling and ride.
You see, they also did the wider body treatment similar to the factory Shelbys on these, so a lot of improvements. You were spending a lot of money, more than doubling the MSRP to have Shelby build some of these, and they are pretty rare. One of only 98 produced is of the Speedsters. And the bidders are all over this thing.
We're closing in on $200,000. We just hit it.
The tonneau with the built-in headrest has shades of the 1962 and 63 Thunderbird Sports Roadster. Kind of a similar Ford theme right here, seen again.
That is our second 200,000 plus car today. That's actually only number 2 on our sales.
At number 2, 2025 Porsche 911 Targa 4 GTS. It's powered by a new 3.6-liter electronic turbocharged flat-6 engine with all-wheel drive and 8-speed PDK transmission. Features carbon ceramic brakes and front axle lift.
Because the new Porsche 911 is a turbo, but a hybrid. So what does the battery system do? Well, it actually controls the turbo. It is an electric turbo that kind of clicks on like a leaf blower, much fancier than that. That means you have instant boost the moment you hit the throttle, unlike waiting for the turbo to spool up. So the performance, a dramatic improvement, through this technology. And this one is that iconic Targa roof, as you can see there, that started with Porsche in the 1970s, with the hoop there looking nice and vintage. But the horsepower, pretty impressive. 532 horsepower to 0 to 60, 3 seconds flat. An improvement with that e-hybrid system. But this does have some of the higher performance Porsche options, like the center lock wheels, and looks like, carbon ceramic brakes as well. So they clicked a lot of option boxes with this Targa. I imagine the MSRP would have been somewhere around $200,000. We're seeing a bit more here on the block. This is very different from Porsches of yesteryear, where they had the turbos and there was that lag where the boost hit and it was almost like a second engine just kicking you in the pants and just dramatically increasing the acceleration. Porsche has done such a great job with technology and being on the cutting edge. And here's an example of that.
$225,000 means that is now tied as the number 5 sale of the day on Super Saturday.
April, we've reached the end of our list of unusual, bold, and unforgettable cars that crossed the block at Barrett-Jackson Palm Beach. Number 1, 2024 Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato. 5.2-liter V10, 602 horsepower, but this is the off-road inspired Lamborghini.
The Sterrato is something that came out of nowhere. An off-road themed Lamborghini Huracan. What? Well, it was actually really popular and well received. You can see the differences with those fog lights, as well as the fender flares finished in a matte finish, looking like something that'd be on an off-road SUV, as well as the all-terrain tires, a suspension lift. But you go up high, and it actually does have a roof scoop intake for the Lamborghini V10 and 602 horsepower. So great performance on road, 3 seconds or so, 0 to 60. But this was designed to go off-road, some light off-roading fun, and an instant hit.
Yeah, it's got about an extra 1.5 inches of ground clearance. Now, once again, when we say off-road, I think we're taking a dirt road, but not actual, something that, has a lot of rocks in it, because it still could do some damage.
And maybe the Sahara Desert.
Yeah, Sterrato, I think, means dirt road, and that one just brought big money, $300,000 for that 2024 Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato.
Now, click right here to watch more auction action. Thank you so much. Right there.
Right there.
Yep.
Right there.